It's not often that I come on here and I'm like, hey, I've got to tell you something, but right now this is what's happening. I have to tell you something because it happened last night, and if more time goes by, I will lose details. First of all, you have to notice that behind me, things are different because we don't live in the same structure that we used to live in as of last year, the end of last year. So so everything behind me is different, and below me and above me, it's just the whole building, when you move, becomes different. Now, this is a series of weird events that I'm going to tell you, but if you are already interested, consider hitting the subscribe button and even the thumbs up button because it kind of helps us out. What happened was last night around 10:50 is I decided to go to bed, and I'm laying in the bedroom at the back of the house. There's an extension on the back, and it's on the second floor. There's a TV on behind me and a fan. I'm hearing it. It's kind of my white noise. I mean, it's someone else's white noise. His name is Ryan. So I'm laying in bed, ready to go to sleep, laying there 3 minutes, and all of a sudden the power goes out, and I'm like, oh shit. So I get up, fumble for a light, I look around, I make sure that's exactly what happened, and after a few seconds the power comes back on, and I'm like, oh, thank goodness. So I text Ryan. He's in the basement in his studio, 2 floors down and on the other side of the house. Keep in mind the house is kind of old, and there's definitely an old electrical system involved here, but it's been working fine for years. It's been working fine the entire time we've been here, since the end of last year. There was no wind, there was no weather, it wasn't raining. I have no idea what just happened. But Ryan texted me back almost immediately going, I'm freaking out. Like, just what, because it's dark? Like, and he's like, come down here right now. And I was like, oh, what the hell happened? So I go downstairs and he says, I just heard a whoosh and a crash out in the backyard. And so I went out to check, and as he was standing there looking out of our enclosed porch into the backyard, through the window to the basement where his room is, he could see a light, one of his lights in the ceiling, turn on its own. He went out because he heard a crash. The power didn't go out in the basement. So we went outside, looked around, nothing in the street, no transformer had blown. We have neighbors way back behind us through our woods. Nobody was outside talking. Nobody was like, oh, what was that? It seemed completely quiet and peaceful outside. Weird. If a transformer blew, and that's like everybody's first assumption, oh, a loud boom usually means a transformer blowing. Again, no weather, no wind, still night. What was the crash and the boom? There's nothing in the yard, there's nothing out in our woods. How did the power go out in one part and stay on in another part and then turn on a light that wasn't even on? I was in a room with just a fan and a TV on low. I heard no crash or boom. I just heard all the power just whoop down. There's been a few other things we've heard in the house that don't quite add up, and we've been here long enough to know how our heating system works, what it sounds like when it kicks on, what it sounds like when the one refrigerator makes ice. That was exciting. Standing at the edge of the kitchen going, I think it's making a noise. Something's making a noise. And you have to figure out what appliance in your new house is doing what. But it's noises that don't add up to anything. And there's a few that are a little more vocal sounding than we would like to admit to ourselves, more than I would like to admit to myself. So I don't know what the frig happened last night with the power in our house, and only our house, and there is a house next to us and a house across the street. Nothing happened to either of them. A whoosh and a crash, loud, in the backyard that Ryan heard, but his power never went out. He had his desk and overhead lights on. We did see the trail of an airline in the sky, like the cloud they make as they go over, and it moved behind the house after a few minutes. We checked the breaker. In fact, I took some footage of the aftermath of us being like, WTF. I will put that in here.
So upstairs bedroom.
We're sure? They're all facing the same way, right?
All facing the same way. I have no explanation.
Our neighbors weren't outside trying to figure out what's up.
But I heard that shit. It was loud enough over my show.
So that lamp didn't go down. Your fun lights didn't go down.
Nothing happened. That turned on by itself.
And this turned on.
That's the freaky part. That has not happened ever. There's no reason for that to happen. My power strip was tripped over there. It tripped a little safety in there.
Well, it
so
means that works.
It was off.
Did something go over our house and with the power?
Maybe something crashed. I don't know.
I told you we were in alien land now. I told you. And that's what happened last night at our new house in the woods. The woods that give us a creepy feeling. We're gonna deal with some things. We have things, it's new, so we have to deal with some things and just see what the f***'s going on out there. Now, fun story is this is a place that it gets closer and closer to like a little bit more known UFO reports out here, kind of an area for sightings. There's a kind of known one nearby from like the 80s or 90s, and then you go downstate and we're not too far off from a whole other area of big sightings. So I don't know. That's the point, I don't know. And this was a series of weird events, and now I've put them out there from here to there, so now it's everybody's problem. And I don't have to be the only one thinking about it. So thank you for watching Amy and Ryan's Weird Adventures, first vlog of 2023. And I will keep you updated as to any more weird events that take place that I can't explain. I like it, but this is pretty close to goddamn home. If you have any idea of what this was, leave a comment. And of course, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up if you like what you saw, and stay weird.